We all have a story to tell. What can you learn from other people's life experiences, both winning and learning? See, in sports, you win and you lose when the scoreboard hits 0. But in life, the clock is always ticking. So you might as well learn. Winning and learning, never losing. There's a recipe for success, and there's a recipe for repeating.
History.
It's never changed.
You the game, so you can take the game now and then you can go apply it. I feel like 2021 we have the most information ever and the most distractions.
Mm-hmm. Ooh.
So
it's another shirt.
So it's kind of like
we got shirts. Elliot, I need you to get some shirts on, baby. Put it on a shirt like TNT. We'll be able to contribute. I want to talk about the process of life. I want to talk about life experiences. I want to talk about trusting the process. So I just want to do my part and give back to the community, give back to the youth, and hopefully it touches somebody's lives and motivates them, and that's really what it's all about. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Chalk Talk episode 4 with another special guest, Chalk Talk, the Open Playbook of Life. We're very, very excited to keep providing some good content. We want to thank our sponsor immediately, Alternative Solar, for allowing us to use the facilities. Make sure if you're looking to get into some solar panels for your home, that you reach out to them. I just want to introduce my coaches here. All right, we got Coach Serda over here, Certified Fit.
Good morning, good morning.
Good morning. And then we have Coach Bailey over here, self-made. I'm so proud of him. He started an Instagram.
Ooh, I saw that. Thank you. Big deal. Welcome to the world.
Welcome to 2028. And then our special guest this week is LeRon Smith. Man, I'm so excited for this young man to be on here. I've known him for a while. Met him through mentoring some other guys through my time. And this dude's had an old soul for a long time since I met him. So how you doing, LeRon?
Doing pretty good. Glad to be here, and I appreciate it.
Oh man, good. I'm glad to have you here, man. We can't ever forget our guy behind the scenes, behind the camera, the mics, and everything. The whole setup here. My guy Elliot with.
Where grinding never stops.
That's right. I texted him this morning because we have a thread, right? And you asked last night we still good, and we talked last night, and I hadn't heard from Elliot, so I was like, I heard from LeRon. I was like, dang, I ain't heard from Elliot. I was like, let me make sure we're good. I literally called him 5 minutes over here. Like, what's up, Elliot? Not much, Marc, just on location. I said, okay, cool. I ain't heard from you, man. I didn't know if the grinding was stopping today. So, my man's over here just working low key, and we thank you, Elliot, for getting everything rolling here. So, man, just kind of jump straight into it. A little bit background on you, LeRon. I know you played at Warren High School basketball, and I know you played at Our Lady of the Lake here in San Antonio. So just kind of talk about, and I know you have a lot of brothers and sisters that a lot of them are very athletic. I believe your brother was like a #1 recruit in the nation at some point, right? Football.
He was doing basketball too, but that's still,
really?
Yeah, that's a lot.
So just kind of opening up, talk about, man, your journey through, Warren, and you had a story about, Our Lady of the Lake, and so tell us a little bit about that.
Warren, well, we were a big black military family, so
okay.
It was a different experience when we originally moved to Texas 2003 and just lived in Japan, you lived in Germany, and you learn, and you learn a lot fast in a big family, but also being in the military. That life is much different. Pops get deployed, siblings got to step up, and look, got to keep making it work. So just Warren was a great experience just growing up in life, preparing you, and just having a lot of siblings. You really just, I think it's almost natural, the competition. You love, but you compete. I mean, no sibling has wanted to share and just certain growing pains. So just
share food or nothing, right?
Eating the rest of something. I mean, it's just, you see a lot of things growing up, and you learn so much faster. But it's just, I feel like it definitely prepares you for the real world because it's not easy, and you realize the strength because living in Japan and Germany, wherever we went, we were together because that's all we had. And friends were cool, but might be moving in a couple years. So it was like the first time I got really attached to friends. I was like, and we laughed. I was hurt. Like, okay, no, I can't get that hurt again. So it's just you learn as a kid, you grow. But it's been an awesome experience even through Warren. I mean, we have a lot of my siblings that Warren at the time when we started was a new high school, and now I'm looking back like that. Like,
I mean, pros came out of Warren now.
Man, it's a lot. It's been a lot of success, a lot of athletes out of Warren, which is awesome. And just moving on to after high school, you go to junior college, and you realize it might not have been what you thought. You're away from your family, and you really hit a point where it's just like, okay, is this for me? I'm not a quitter. But then I realized, too, in the aspect of sometimes you might have to take 2 steps back, to jump forward. So it's kind of like you analyze the situation, the casualties, and I left junior college, came home. I could have really just quit at that point basketball, and I was just like, I'm not. So that was a different grind for me when I came home because I got to realize, man, I got to work, pay for my school, and still train because ain't nobody was going to beat me over the head, say, hey, go work out. So that was just, it kept me disciplined and focused because I didn't have much time for nothing else.
Let's talk about that. So you went to JUCO, which, playing at another level, Bailey played, I played. Well, I don't know if you played.
I watched.
You watched. So, and we were D3, so, and we talk about that, obviously not being the highest level, but getting the opportunity to play college is I just think that a beautiful opportunity. So talk about how that, is going from JUCO and realizing like, man, I'm grinding, I'm putting in the work, but yet I'm not even getting an opportunity, or this may not be the right fit for me. And talk about how that can either shape you, destroy you, or propel you.
It definitely can destroy you. I could say because I knew some guys that left and never came back. So it was like they was done after that. Once they went back home, went no more sports. It was work. We're going reality.
Right.
But I would say it would stick to just my circle, my parents, my closest friends, where it was just like, hey man, just because somebody don't see your value don't mean you ain't got no value.
That's good.
So that really,
right
that's good.
All right, we're done.
And wrap.
So that really kind of hit my soul because like we're human. We all gonna have our bad days, but if you got that circle intact, that's gonna keep you up because even when they had that bad day, so it was just it came back tenfold. Came home, my AAU coach John Collins, like he was hilarious because he was just like, you ain't playing? Come on, we get you somewhere else. He was like, look, don't waste your time. And then I had my pops on the other side, like, well, you got an opportunity here. And I'm like, pops, I'm giving my all. I'm doing the extra workouts, this and that. You're not letting me touch the court. And I'm actually doing good in practice. So at that point, I was like, I'd be a fool. So I just kind of, it sucked because I did lose my eligibility because it was a couple games. He would just throw me in at the end. So that really, I lost that whole year. So I come home and in my mind, I'm like, I got 3 years left. And as a ball player, you're thinking basketball, but you also realize too, I was like, I started school. I'm going to finish it whether I play ball or not.
Okay.
But just coming back home, going to Vista, they didn't even have a program at the time, no gym, no nothing. It was just like, it was gut wrenching. Like, I love this, my passion, I'm playing ball, and it's like, you're back home now. Yeah. Are you gonna quit? You got friends here. They could be a distraction. And it was just like, I was just like, if I keep myself busy, then there ain't gonna be that much time for distraction. Yeah. I can do that later. That's gonna always be there in my mind. So I'm like.
So I think coming back home, especially when you're athletes, like I don't think athletes ever think we're not gonna play anymore, and that's tough, And coming back, like I came back when I played a year, and I messed up in school. So mine wasn't like opportunity. I had opportunities. Mine was like, you didn't go to school, you didn't go to class. I went to chapel. Just had to swipe your card, go to chapel. But that was about it. Like I was playing. I was like, the first time of freedom, right?
It's a weapon.
Freedom is a weapon, because no one's, like you just said, no one's making you work out. No one's making me go to. Wait, I don't have to go to class. Like, this is weird. So why would I go to class? Like, but you got anything for?
Well, I was just gonna add to that where we had talked about experiences a couple episodes ago, talking about how if we can offer somebody some advice to keep them out of an experience, or people say, well, I just gotta go through it. Honestly, when you go to college and you're by yourself and you're an athlete, you get that freedom that you can't. There's nothing else that can really spell out what that is, that feeling is. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's one of those experiences, like, you do have to go through that to know what it feels like to really, you can go two ways. Like, you came back home, I came back home, he came back home. We all had to get back on a path to get where we are right now. You know what I'm saying? So that's one of those experiences that you need to go through, but it's gonna be a life-changing experience, especially as a young person.
You're gonna go through experiences. Like, when we say it's, like I said, my theory is, like, I think it's done when someone says, I have to go through it myself. Right. Like, why? Like, you're gonna go through enough by yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, you're gonna go through life in your own journey no matter what. So why add more stress, more troubles, so to speak, of something that someone can put a free game on you already, right? So, Serda, what do you think about that in aspects of free game? You ever heard of free game? I don't know if you know what free game is. You kind of popular on the show, by the way. Like, people keep saying, like, I like Serda.
What's there not to like?
So, yeah, I was just thinking about that.
No, explain it to me. So, I mean, other people might not know what it is.
So I mean, like, what are you thinking as far as experiences? And I think you talked about this at first when you said when you were out the country, when you were going around the family, you had a small, or not really a circle. How do you choose your circle? Because that's important, because those are the other people eventually that you're going to learn from. If you're not reading, we'll talk about that later. But if you're not learning, I mean, if you don't have a big circle or you have a small circle, and you're not taking the lessons from your friends, basically the question is, how do you choose your circle?
Sometimes your circle chooses you. Depending on where you're positioning yourself, where you're at in life. My circle, when I was in my early 20s, just happened to be my circle because of where I was in life, right? I was in college. I was a server. I was, so sometimes we're not really necessarily out seeking a circle. They find us. But I think that as we grow and as we change and as our season changes, we sometimes leave those circles behind, or we outgrow those circles. Or it's just not a good fit anymore for whatever reason, right? So I think a lot of it just goes with maturity and knowing, being wise enough to know, are these people benefit? Like, that's just something I'm just learning now, about circles and the influence that they have, whether they are actively influencing me or kind of in the back influencing me, right? Because everybody that we have, and I believe that more now than ever, they impact and influence in some way or another, whether we realize it or not, right? So that's why it's really important, and you hear this a lot, who you allow in your world, who you allow to speak into your life, who you allow to give, entertain, who you allow to entertain, right? So I think now it's just a matter of being wise enough, at a young age, I didn't really have those guards up. And I don't want to say not everybody's a bad person, but not everybody's in alignment with what my goals are right now.
Not everybody has good intentions for you. Or mature enough
to know the things that you want. At a young age, at 20, I'm sure you were in your early 20s, right? We're going through this.
He's still 20, right?
Are you still 20?
30.
Nah, he's 30. He's 30. He's a whole 30 now. Like, she's like, no.
And anyways.
So I do want to kind of talk about the circle thing, because I think it hit a point, and I want to bring up DMX. DMX, for me, my favorite rapper ever. I don't think he's the greatest rapper ever. That's a whole nother show for another day.
It's a different category.
But he's my favorite rapper, because and I'm gonna let you talk about this, because you mentioned something about pain and taking steps back. But we talk about circle. I gotta believe DMX had a circle around him, and I do gotta believe that there was people in his life that were trying to positively help him. You know, it's hard to believe that he didn't. But even through his music, from an early age, like I resonated with him because he was so honest. You know, he talked about the good, the bad, the rain and the darkness. You know, God and the devil. Like those songs where he's playing both. Like, you know, it's clever and it's great, but like the message in there. So talk about what you think that is, LaRon, as far as like you talked about pain and you talked about or you talking about taking a step back and we're talking about circle. What do you think about DMX and just touching on that subject? Because I know, you know, it's happened since we last filmed.
His story, I just felt like is I look at it in the lines of just we understood he was going through certain things, and we talked about the circle. For starters, I just feel like pain is something you can't really tell somebody how to feel. We can say it as best as we can, but we can all hear a message right now, and it can all hit us depending on our experiences in a different way. So if I sit here and say, well, she should feel this way, I'm like, it's not fair. So I feel like sometimes we put a cookie cutter approach to things, and it's like, we're all so different. We're similar in so many things as far as just, I feel like the key of everything, the most important thing is laughter and love. But I mean, we're so unique, and when you look at success and pain and so many things, we want to categorize so we can kind of box people in, and his story just really just helped me to just that much more like, it's nothing's promised. Enjoy your people now, because you can have money, success, but we can be going tonight, tomorrow. We don't know when our last day is, so it's just, it just hit me and took back like, enjoy your people. That's all. Just enjoy your people.
Yeah. No, I mean, like I said, after this, I have a funeral to go to for my boy Malik that I grew up with, and that, you know, his story, he had a rough childhood, and I know him since we were younger through the Abdul Jamis, and man, I don't want to get on that too much because I get emotional, but Bailey, talk about what do you think about the DMX situation?
Well, like when you talked about a circle, or when Jen really brought it up, I really started to just go through my mind and try to think back, man, when I was younger, I really, like you said, your circle chooses you, and as you get older, more mature, you start making those decisions. But I thought back to Jordan Middle School, actually. I had a great coach, Coach Young, and I do remember specifically, and this just popped in my head, that he would always tell us, you can either be an athlete or you can be a hall walker. You're going to choose, right? You have to align yourself with people who also have something to lose. Because if you're an athlete and you want to hang out with the hall walker, bad things going to start happening. I feel like DMX probably really got, obviously, just completely enveloped in a really bad circle early, and he was just never able to get out of it. Even though, like I said, I'm sure he had so many support systems. Once he, everything coming to light, they felt his pain. I'm sure he went through counseling, all that, but it was just so deeply ingrained in him. It's just tragic, really.
Yeah, no, I mean, it is like, 'cause you impact so many people in the world, and I think you don't realize for my boy Malik, I think he impacted so many people and didn't even realize how important it was to people. Yeah. You know, and like Sean going up to the balloon releases and things like that, and DMX, like you just see the pouring out of love, and it's like, man, it's like you can still be all jacked up, effed up, have your own problems, but yet still be impacting other people. And I think that's, very important for the show. Also, it's like something that I've been wanting to do. We talked about it many times, but it's like I didn't feel like I was ready. Like I don't feel like I'm all the way complete. E.T. talks about, and I've said this many times, but you can be a 5 and coach a 2, you can be a 10 and coach a 8. So just to kind of transition, man, the rest of peace DMX, L, we're gonna need some like DMX in the background, when we're playing the show, like, my God, you know what I'm saying? Something like that. So, LaRon, just to kind of transition, man, tell me a little bit about what you're doing now, because I know you were, obviously, you didn't talk about Our Lady of the Lake, but you obviously played there, had a great career. I've seen some awards you've gotten, so kudos to that, man, because obviously you took the 2 steps back, and tell us about the story on how you got to Our Lady of the Lake.
Our Lady of the Lake was interesting. Originally, in my mind, I was just like, well, if all fell for all my plans, I was like, I'll just go to Houston Tillis. I was like, I knew the coach been up there. I get it, they wasn't a great team, but I was like, I'm getting school paid for. Like, I'm going to finish school. Whether I was going to be an athlete or not, I was like, I started it, I'm going to finish it. Like, I have to have closure. I'm not, I can't just start something and not finish. That's just how I am. And then I would hear, you hear stories of people like, and when I was at Vista, like, hey man, make sure you finish. Older people that might have been coming back to finish school, and I would hear them, and I'm gonna take advice. Especially if somebody's giving it out. So I'm not going. So that stuck with me. But Our Lady of the Lake was interesting because I had a close friend, and he was like, hey man, we got an open gym today, and this was after Our Lady of the Lake's first year. So they had a great first year. Got conference champs, and it was like, okay, what's next? So I came into the open gym with my friend, and me and him kind of just did what we usually do, just play hard and get up under people's skin. Like, we here to compete, and I'm not saying get up under their skin like talk trash. Like, we're gonna put in the work. We're not just gonna talk it. So sat down with the coach for about 4 or 5 hours, literally right after the open gym, and he convinced me, like, you from San Antonio, we're a new program, we're good. Where you going? You want to be a part of this or not? And of course, some of my boys had signed too, so I was like, feeling like, why not? So I signed with them, and it's funny because people hear athlete stories and they just think it's always success. They're getting playing time. Well, first semester I was averaging, I think, about 3 or 5 minutes a game. So that really was gut wrenching. Where I'm in my city, I got my friends at the game, my family, and they like, he not playing. I'm the type, look, don't come to watch me sit, baby. I want to shine. So I know you got to wait your time and put in the work. So literally that Christmas break, I worked out, I trained. So all my buddies that might have been like, well, I'll be back in 2 weeks, or the week we got off, I literally on the treadmill, I'm training, like I'm on a treadmill, 12, running. I remember like 12 miles per hour on the treadmill, just trying to train. So literally Christmas break.
As fast as I go too, right, Serda?
Yeah, warming up, you might hit that, and then you excel.
Yeah, I go a little faster, but I didn't want to call you out like that.
Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. So it was like literally Christmas break came back. He saw I was in shape, and he was kind of like using me as a tool as, hey, LeBron's in shape. Why y'all not? And my thing is I like to be prepared. I don't like to show up and I'm looking My whole thing is kind of like my parents. I learned, like, it's almost like don't let them see you sweat. You're going to put in that work, but you don't have to. So he literally after that Christmas break started giving me a few more minutes. Got a few more opportunities, and literally we played the #1 team going into one of those weeks in the nation. So they were undefeated, beat everybody, and literally it was like, I think I had 23 points in 5 minutes and 23 seconds. What? So I hit 6 threes, a layup and a free throw. I think that's what it was. I forgot what it was, but it was like I was 6 or 7 that night, but I only played 5 minutes and 23 seconds. What? And I'm riding the bench. So it's like my guys, my friends, my teammates know how I am. Like, even when I was sitting, I was clowning, having fun, but I was upset because I'm here for business. I'm here to get my school, take care of my school, and to play on the court. I'm not here to sit the bench. If I'm not putting in that work, then I understand that. But I'm a firm believer. Don't give up. Stay the course. So I hit the game winner that game. Crowd went crazy. I mean, it shocked me too. But like, nobody goes into playing the #1 team and they're like, I'm going to hit a game winner, a deep three. And literally, when I hit the shot, my best friend who helped me get recruited just grabbed me from behind, and it was just like everybody, like, that was one of the most priceless events I've ever had, because literally, like, right after that, the next day of practice, we got the news there. So like, I'm me all the time in the aspect of, I joke, and I'm like, well, if you're waiting for the guys that play, they're on the way. Just he's like, are you LeBron Smith? I'm like, well, who's asking? But, like, I'm a realist. Like, I mean, so
I'm not that guy.
Yeah, like, I'm like, they're on the way. So like
yeah, brother Donuts is one. Yeah.
So I was just like, but
let me ask you about that, because to get that opportunity, and I want to talk about, you never know when your opportunity is going to present itself. I think the old saying goes, preparation. How does it go?
Opportunity and preparation. There's no such thing as luck. It's opportunity.
No such thing as luck. It's opportunity
and preparation meet.
Right?
Yeah.
It's when opportunity meets preparation. That's what it is, right? So you're literally in an open gym just trying to stay in shape and whatnot, and then this opportunity presents itself. So, I mean, I think that's just a great lesson in that, because you never know when somebody's watching and other people are watching. You got kids now, they're always watching, right? And I'm sure you had to adjust to that. But I do want to ask you about the fact that you get this opportunity, this coach recruits you, tells you, hey, you're in your city, we're grown, we want you here, we want you bad, and then you're in the same situation as JUCO, not getting no minutes, right? How did you deal with it?
It hit me hard. I mean, it really did. And my pops, he really stayed in my head going to the games. He was just like, LeRon, you going to sit regardless. If you get out there, do what you do. Shoot that ball, son. You going to sit whether you make the shot or you miss the shot. So at least take your shot.
That's true.
And that really...
Oh, that's good stuff.
That blew my mind. That blew my mind because... People don't realize you're an athlete. Your confidence be so fragile when you're not playing. You questioning yourself. You got friends. You got family. You answering text messages. Like, everybody want to answer. You like, I'm going through it. I'm feeling it. I want to look. I want to answer too for it. So it's like it's.
I think people that the hall walkers, so to speak, right, always assume that it's easy. I don't like watching games like NFL game. I'm a big NFL guy, right? I don't like to go watch NFL games at a bar or something during the season. It drives me crazy. Why? Because the people that don't put in the work are the biggest critics. Mm-hmm. People that don't know what it is to grind.
That's in life.
Yeah, exactly what we're talking about. What else
everything.
About?
I'm just saying, it just carries over to everything.
And you can talk about that if you want, Serda, because it is life. Like, the people that are not willing to take their shot, put that time in.
Always have the most to say.
Always have the most to say.
The loudest in the room is the what? The weakest in the room.
Do more, say less, right?
Yeah.
So, start to talk about that. I mean, it obviously hit home with you a little bit here. Like, what do you think about that? How do you tune that out? And LeRon obviously had to, because he was in that same situation. Like, man, you just recruited me here. Now you know, recruiters, they feed you a little, you know,
it's a business. It's a business.
It is a business.
I learned that.
Absolutely a business. So talk about that. Like,
well, I'm gonna kind of just ask y'all, because I, was never in college sports.
Yeah, but you competed.
I did compete. But my question is, do you think that they do that on purpose to humble you, to get your mind right, to see, first of all, where you're at mentally, right? Because if people are put in that situation where they're just going to sit the bench, it could go one of two ways. Somebody could get so hot and heated about it, they're like, screw this, I'm out. Or it builds that character, it builds that patience, it builds that endurance, it builds that tough skin, So for y'all, I mean, is that something that you feel that coaches... It's strategy. It's to see what their players are made of, or do you really just think they're just being butt heads and I don't know.
I'll let you take that. Go ahead.
Now where I am mentally and looking back, and you get past the journey, you can look back almost like a bird's eye view. I feel like it's like they feel they have to do that because you're coaching young men. Mm-hmm. Some of these guys think they are way better than they are, and you got a system to run because you look, as a coach, you got to win. I'm just being honest.
That's how they feed their family.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the business aspect, but as a student, you don't know that. So it's like a lot of mental games. Like, even after I hit that game winner, the coach said that was the first time I felt like he said something nice to me, because up to then he was always on me, and I'm the type, I'm already my harshest critic. Yeah. So I don't actually have to have somebody behind me screaming to make me work harder. I'm already I'm looking in the mirror, like, asking more self, like, why can't you play?
Right.
So I do think it's definitely a mental game that they play, and it's just you got to persevere because it's gonna test what you're made of, and that's.
Well, I'll talk about, because I coached. I always tell you I was a better coach than a player, and I think on the coaching side, at least for me, I don't ever try to play games with somebody, mental games that is putting in the work. If I see someone like you, I think the opportunity needs to be given, right? Talking about barbecue with our semi-pro team. I mess with him because he's late. He don't remember the plays, and I hope he's watching.
Why are you calling that man out?
No, well I didn't call him by his name. So
He's gonna know.
Everybody, I hope he's watching. He can learn a lesson because yesterday he was late to the game, and you know he's a starter. He's a hoss. He's a hoss, and that's the most frustrating thing as a coach when you have the talent.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a life lesson. When you have the abilities that other people do not, and yet you don't prepare, focus, work out hard. Like you don't do all those things. It's just natural. At some point, that's going to go away. And we've always talked about the process in life. At some point, his athletic ability, and this is why you're successful next, and we'll get into that. But you had that mindset the whole time, as a young man, as now. That, and we talked about Inky, the process, right? It shaped you who you are and why you're successful now because you stuck through it, you kept persevering, you looked at yourself in the mirror, and you said, I'm holding myself accountable. I don't need this coach jacking with me because I'm going to do it anyway. Then there's guys like Barbecue that don't do it unless you're riding their daggone tail, you know? So.
Hi, I'm Alex, the head system monitor for Alternative Solar. And today we're happy to announce Solar Skins, a new option for solar enthusiasts that just don't like the way that black panels look on a roof, or if your HOA is giving you a hard time. Solar Skins are a graphic overlay that transforms your panel's visual appearance while also protecting them with a design that represents whatever you want. Whether you want your panels to look like your roof, a solid color, text, or an image, the skins are fully customizable to whatever you'd like. They come with a 10-year warranty and are compatible with any panel manufacturer. If you want to save money, energy, and look good doing it, contact Alternative Solar to learn more and see if a skin is right for you.
I do want to kind of move, and we talked about your athletic career, man. I kind of want to, obviously, you are not an athlete anymore, so to speak. I'm sure in your mind that's obviously shaped you. But the big thing, and I'm excited to learn about this, I've been kind of hitting you up, asking some questions, but you now do penny stock, Twitter, penny stock gurus, correct?
Yes.
And from what I hear, you know, you're doing pretty successful. I seen an Audi and a brand new Denali Chevy. So I mean, something must be working.
Shit, I got $100 right now.
Yeah. So, talk about your transition and maybe how athletically or being an athlete has helped transition you into. Because I believe you went into the corporate world for a while, and then now you're an entrepreneur. So talk about that a little bit.
I say work ethic. Being an athlete, I feel like. Athletes in sports, especially in college, after college in your mind, you're like, I'm going to go play pro. So it's like, it hits you different too. I mean, I went out to Italy for like a summer league exposure type thing, and it was like $500 a month. It was like, in my mind, I was like, I'm a hustler. I can go make that at the house at McDonald's. So I was like, because you finish college, and then back in my mind, like, I got a degree, this and that. I'm not selling for $500. So in my mind, I was like, I'm not going to look at this as an opportunity. I can work here and work my way up. I looked at it like, dang, if I start here and get hurt, I'm done. Yeah. So I took that as almost an insult kind of, and I could be like, it could be seen as I was quitting, but I was like, I'm about to go home and make money. I'm going to go into the corporate world because I already felt like my parents and just growing up, I had been groomed enough where I can adapt. You grow up with 10, 12 in a house, you learn to manage a lot of personalities, and you're more of the middle sibling. You get to learn from the top. You look and be bossed, and then you get your turn where you like, you know how you want to move and not do things. So it's just moving into the corporate world did hurt because it was just like, I'm 6'3", I'm sitting at a desk at USA and my knees is hitting it something after a couple jobs. So literally right after college, basketball thing didn't work out. Came back home, and I'm like, okay, trying to find a job with a college degree, no experience. Denied, overqualified, underqualified.
Isn't that sad? It's so sad.
It is. It hurts. Yeah. It hurts. It hurts. So it's like, got my first job, $8 an hour, got a raise, $9 an hour. But literally,
What a college degree?
Where the college?
It was a hit in the throat. Working for certain people.
And you don't have to tell me the amount, but did you have debt? Oh no, you went to school kind of.
No, actually, I did. credit card debt.
Okay. So a little bit of debt from school.
Yeah, it was still some.
But still,
it
nonetheless, coming
not
up.
$67,000 debt.
But still, can you imagine? Okay, I'm sorry.
Hey, come on, Biden.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
Help me out, Biden.
Debt forgiveness.
Yes.
But started, working at that call center, and I was literally working about 60, 70 hours a week because wherever I worked, I worked all the overtime they offered. So I was literally like, I felt like wherever aspect I was in life, I give 130%, then I can't fail. You're going to grow through what you go through. So $8, $9 an hour, worked there for about a year, got moved to Cons Collections, did that because you got bonuses every month. So I'm like, dang, if you work harder, you get paid more? Sign me up now.
Yeah.
Worked over there for about a year. Then I was like, okay, now I got to get some corporate experience. I got to get a good name on my resume. USA came up as a contractor job, so you kind of learn with contractor jobs, you can get cut. But I was like, I'll take the risk because it's a year contract. I'm going to show my value in a year, and I will
That's
get.
the athlete in you, like, oh wait,
like
you could always gotten cut. You could always gotten okay.
Yeah, so I'm like, I'm gonna show my value. Got hired on a USA, whatnot. Did that for about 4.5 years. Moved over to Northwestern Mutual, 5-6 months, and I got to really learn just the financial aspect because I love my numbers game guy. I love the numbers game, and I feel like if you study numbers enough in the financial world, you can kind of see how we can maybe make money work better. Because working at USA, I got to study accounts. Working in the fraud department, you see how people spend their money, this and that. So I got to see no matter how much somebody was making, usually when they got paid, they were already spend everything they got. So in my mind, I'm already looking at, dang, do they have investment accounts? Are they even saving anything? So I'm like, I'm learning diversity. We're looking at their ranks, seeing like you get to learn something. And I'm working 80-hour weeks. So at USA for 3 years, I did 80-hour work weeks. So shout out to my wife. She stuck through, saw my vision, this and that. Fast forward, Northwestern Mutual, I left last May. Been in the investment world full time for almost a year now. But I had been doing penny stocks I was at USA. So I was the nut telling some of my guys, hey, do some penny stock, put a few hundred here. So I would literally pay my bills, and I literally put all my money towards investments because I was like, in my mind, I was like, I can go get the cars, clothes, shoes, house later. Use this money to flip my money, go get that later. So I stayed very frugal for many, many years because I just don't like to waste money.
Right.
But you just got to understand just the value of
you need to be my financial advisor, what you need to be.
So, look.
I'll tell you right now.
The mic can hear you, man.
I'll tell you right now what to stop spending money on.
Oh, my God. So back to barbecue.
But no, I did leave Northwestern Mutual for the aspect of, I was like, man, I know I can make more in the penny stock world. And then when I originally got Northwestern Mutual, I loved the idea of managing clients. But as I got to manage more clients, and you go through making financial plans for them, and I'm like, man, and it's you do spend time away from family more and more. And I was just like, I want my goals to align where I can see my family grow, wake up every day, and I know I'm already going to be organized on myself, my schedule, my plan, where I don't have to have somebody saying, hey, did you go to work? But I knew Northwestern Mutual gave me a good chance because it was a contracting job. You don't work, you don't eat. Simple put. So you got to put in the work.
Right?
Exactly. So that was kind of like, I jumped in, meeting goals, this and that, but I stepped away from Northwestern Mutual because I was just like, man, I can go make me more money on my own. And I like managing accounts, but the percentages they're paying me on that after a year in residual is still not even equating to half of what I'm making in the stock world. So I was like, man, I can maybe show some advice, give some pointers of what has helped me to manage accounts, but to people who want to manage their accounts, but I was just like, I don't want that hassle of, hey, did you help me make my money each year from each person? Because you build different relationships. And for me, I'm big on genuine friends and family. So I wasn't just going to go find clients that I never knew and never met in life just because they can make me money. I can get a percentage of, hey, they drive a Ferrari, maybe I can manage their portfolio. I was like, I'm going to start my friends and family. Let's build us. But through the penny stock world, I had been doing that since USA, telling somebody, that's why some of my friends that work at USA still and moved up doing awesome, they're like, man, that guy, they remember me, like working those hours, day and night, tired, all the holidays, missing those. And my wife, I'm explaining to her, like, hey, I'm Christmas, Thanksgiving. I remember that sitting at the computer, look, 12-hour days, and still got to do my workouts. And you got to keep your sanity, too, because I don't care what nobody says.
Balance, yeah.
Humans get tired. Humans get tired.
Yeah.
And when we hit that rock bottom and get exhausted, and you build a new human almost to get back up. But just when I quit there, I was like, okay, I need to be all in. And when I say all in, I was like, how can I help more people, but also kind of stay out of the limelight? So the penny stock guru thing was for me like extremely important, because I was like, I had for years seen how people use Twitter to help and to hurt people, and I was like, I'm here genuine, I'm not charging. They can see my track record, and look, I'm like, put me to the light if you don't think I'm authentic. Go look at my track record. I'm not here. I'm genuine.
How many followers you got now?
I'm at almost 19,000. I think at 18,400. But literally, last May I was about 300. So it's like, I feel like I truly believe that if you put in the work, energy is contagious. You're gonna meet. I had people message me on Twitter. It's
true.
That they done told me, look, it almost brought me to tears. They're like, I've been able to pay for this and that, pay off debt, be financially free, walk out of the job they didn't like. I'm never gonna say that the corporate world isn't good. I said it just depends on what goals you have and what you want to do in life.
It wasn't your path.
Yeah, if I didn't know penny stocks, yes, I would still be in the corporate world working my way up, because I'm like, wherever I'm at, I have to move up. Like, I'm thinking in my mind, you're here, okay, how can you grow? So the penny stock guru thing really took off, and it really just, it was awesome. It's been a blessing, and penny stocks is definitely, I would say, something that if you don't know anything about it, then find you somebody to do before you just jump in. Otherwise, it's going to feel like you're buying a lottery ticket. But literally, I dissect everything with refinancials. I'll go reach out to companies, CEOs. I'll sift through court dockets. I've listened to court hearings, paid the money for that, and people see how transparent I am when I put my research out there. I'm never going to say, go buy that. I'm going to say, I'm buying that because of this, and that. So you can think, because I feel like if we challenge each other to think, now he go fish. He might go find us the next stock that could make us, look, a few $100,000. I'm just being honest. Penny stocks run every day a few 100%. So it's more so positioning yourself prior to buy low and be patient. So with dabbling into the penny stock world, I play along hot sectors, and then I start to position myself because the market fluctuates throughout the year. So whether you got oil, gas, gold, unfortunately we've been having a pandemic, you have people making PPE equipment, you get government contracts. So I really spent many years just studying the market. And I would see people who had a lot of followers on Twitter, and I would just watch and study them and see how they acted when things went good and bad. And I just got to learn how to maneuver to really be able to be like, I can keep a lot of the drama out of this and help people and still be okay. That's a win for me. So just penny stocks, it's crazy. I mean,
well, it's reading a lot of.
I know. I've been taking mental notes this whole time, so I'm ready when you.
It's a lot out there, and I love it because my circle got into it. So now I got some of my younger friends, 23, 26, retired. And I'm loving it because I'm like, and I'm seeing them prosper, be able to start some of their business. And I'm like, man, if I started at 23, if I got to be sitting on a few $100,000 that I made in the market in half a year or a year because you put in the work, I'm like, that puts you in a better position to move.
Absolutely.
And of course, I knew their heart intent because I understand the power of penny stock, so I'm not going to just want to share some power with someone that I know might not use it as best
in the right way.
Yeah.
Starting out.
That's
exactly.
Good.
Of course you can be like, hey, I'll teach anybody this and that, but I'm like, I got to start with my friends and family first. And then I can move out because
your circle.
I love that. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, especially amongst minorities, young minorities, the only financial literacy they have is make as much money as I can, as fast as I can. Not investments, not portfolio.
Or save. Our family teaches us to save.
Everything that can build up your portfolio, you never get taught that. So for you being your age, still considered young. I mean, only in the past couple of years, I've really even started to really think about, what am I going to do? What are my investments for when I retire? And I'm like, man, I was doing this when I was 21, 22, 23. It's a great thing I feel like you're doing. Like you said, you want to focus on your friends and family. You're not just out there trying to poach off of people or just trying to make as much money as you can. You're really literally trying to help people, especially young people, minorities, to get out of a situation or even just build a legacy. And that's something that we talked about before too. You can really leave an impact on your generation. You just never know how you can impact it. So I'm loving it. I'm loving it up.
Yeah. That's good stuff.
When you started talking about the penny stocks, it was a complete this dude is dialed into it.
Oh man, I noticed that too.
I lose it.
I
could just go.
Like, we talked about this yesterday when we were talking about preparing for the show, and you messaged like, I need to talk a little bit more. You know, you're a very humble young man, and you've been like that since I met you. But as soon as you start talking about that,
it really blows my spirit up.
Passion.
Like basketball.
Passion.
Exactly.
Purpose.
And everything
And
you've
your why.
done up into this life, up into all your life experiences from basketball to the corporate world. Like, you think about basketball shaped you, taught you the dedication, the focus, the commitment, the sacrifice. Then you got in the corporate world, and most people, and I think this is the problem with people that get into jobs, is like they lose themselves. They lose themselves in the job because they don't necessarily like it. I talk to people that they're like, man, you're blessed because you know your purpose. Like, you know you want to help people. You know, like, and I'm like, keep trying to find whatever your purpose is.
Well, it's because we're taught to chase the bag. You know what I mean? And so while our intentions may start out with our purpose, somehow along the way, we lose that focus to the bag. And then things just kind of, it changes. Our focus is not there, and our heart's not there.
But if the Bible says your gift will make room for you, right? And people will, and this is my big thing. People will quote God, talk about God, but as soon as some bad stuff start happening,
Why God?
they don't trust it. When you talk about trusting the process, you literally have to trust the process. LeBron trusted the process in his life, from playing JUCO to not getting no time, then getting recruited again, getting to a school, and then not getting no time again, bringing donuts to the camera guy that hit the game with a shot, right? And then he just trusted the process. And then at some point, E.T. talks about this checkpoints, right? Yeah. You had a checkpoint in your life that's like, you know what? I want to play pro ball. $500 is not going to do it for me. You had a checkpoint, and it has to be humbling, and it has to be hard. And it's like going into the corporate world. That was his corporate world. Basketball was his corporate world at that time. Yeah. And he was like, this is not it. Yeah. You know, and if more people will realize that this is not it, checkpoint, I'm done. Right. What's next?
But that can't be confused with quitting either.
Absolutely not.
No.
You realizing that this ain't going to be the path that you're going to take. And especially like when you go from being a college athlete going into that corporate world, you said, man, it knocks you down like, man, I'm supposed to be in the pros or whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, nobody plays sports for their whole life, their whole career. Everybody has to go through it. It's just, when is it going to happen? And when you can realize that quickly like you did.
And not waste time.
Boom. On to the next
and that's why he's 30 being so successful making the money in the penny stocks, because he made that checkpoint. So woo.
So I'm going to kind of go back to something that you mentioned, which I think is a really valid point just in any, when you're pursuing something and passionate and you have to grind it out. You mentioned your family and your support system. I think a lot of times we don't realize how crucial that is when we are grinding, when we are putting those 80-hour work weeks. If we don't have that foundation at home or with our, whether it's, it falls through. So, that's huge. I think sometimes we miss that,
So let me go back to the next thing, or anything in general. Like, if you find your purpose, you find your gift. You find your why. So your why, I'm sure, was your family, your wife. Your why could have been said. I think a lot of people don't realize sometimes the why is themselves. Especially if you're not married, if you don't have kids, like myself. My why, even though I don't have that, has never really been about me. So I've always wanted to help people. And I love how you want to help people, and we need to talk after the show, then, you know what I'm saying? But
that's what I'm saying.
But that's actually how we connected about the show, because he had mentioned it to me, and I was like, man, I really don't have, I have a lot going on, and I'm staying in my lane. So I think that's the other thing. I know what I have time for, and real estate is really, that's my gift still right now. That's my vehicle right now. Yeah. I don't truly believe I'm gonna stay in real estate forever. It's just it's my penny stock, so to speak, that's allowing me to do this, to give back, to create a show, to give back to the kids. This show ultimately was about giving back to the youth, and that's why I started it. Now I'm just like, I grown people, adults that are like, man, keep doing it. When we received that message this week, I seen people putting Post-it notes on their computer. That was everything.
Right.
That was everything.
Because she's gonna tell somebody else that.
So, get back into this. What advice would you have for people? I mean, I think you kind of talked about it, about doing your research, but give me some advice, like some tangible people that may already know a little bit about the game, not like completely, yeah.
I would say use your resources, because for me, if somebody was telling me about penny stocks when I first started, and I would kind of be like, well, let me see a track record. Like, I don't trust everybody, and even I'm not sure if you knew, before I even got to really get to know you, I knew you knew Ben and Tony. So I was already know to myself, you're older than them, but you know them, and they keeping you around. So I'm like, okay, let me see how this guy is. So over the years, I would still follow you and see you put in work and grow, and I was like, okay, he's authentic. But it wasn't you, it was me. I don't trust easy, so I had to kind of see, like, hey, I'm like, man, he got a good heart. I remember you was at Jordan, and then you went into real estate. I'm like, but you don't just do these things without putting in that work. So it's almost like success is, you see the work and you're like, okay, it's that energy. Like I see that, and I was like, okay. And for me, even with just being, even when I messaged you, it was just more like, okay, now I want to talk, because it was just like, I had been sitting at home and I'm like, how can I get this out without coming off like he knows it all? Because I don't. And I'm the first person to tell him. I'm going to miss plenty of stock runners too. But at the same time, we're going to catch a lot of them too. Yeah. It's fun. And you make money with your friends and family and whatnot. And it's so just going back to the penny stock world, and just, if I had to give somebody advice, I would say find some people that are authentic, check their track record, but also use what's out there. So right now, we have the Penny Stock for Gurus Twitter. I started the group chat when I quit my job too. It was at 0. Now we just hit 4,000 people, and we don't publicize it everywhere. It's people all over the world. They be in that group chat. Like, if you're in UK, what brokerage do you open? So we wanted to control the narrative in the group chat, so people would never feel like they can't ask a question or anything. Everybody is in there, iron sharp as iron. But at the same time, if you throw a stock in there and we know it might be a scam or some BS, we kind of going to put you to the light to see if you are authentic. As far as what research do you have versus just buy that, because we don't talk that in here. That's why we get to control the narrative.
Nice.
Or, hey, don't just buy this. Why? Let's make us think. Put out some notes that's important, some financials, a catalyst. Why is it? Why?
Right.
So
always asking the why.
We started that. We got the group chat. I got an alert channel where it's just me, because some people have said, man, there's 4,000 people in there. I just started. It's way too fast.
It'll be cumbersome for them.
Got the alert channel where it's just me. It's the mental side. I'm explaining throughout the day when stocks are fluctuating, this and that, why they might be, but also why you got to stay the course. Because I know my first 6-7 years with me and some of my friends and family, we fell forward, and we kept reading and learning. But what I also would recommend, the Penny Stock for Dummies book. I read it once a year. I get people, if they say they might not have time for stuff, they don't have the money, or we got all this stuff for free. And then we found a link where we got the Penny Stock for Dummies book as well.
It's an audio book.
They might have one.
You asking for me, right?
Oh, for me?
But look, now that you said that, now my brother, he started a podcast.
Okay.
For penny stocks. He's done an interview with me, some of my other family and friends, and he's moving that way for people who don't like to read.
Yeah.
So he kind of, when you see that fire burning in somebody, I look at it like, don't be a distraction. Step back, support, or shut up.
Hold on, that's a shirt. That's a shirt.
We got to get one.
That's a shirt.
So it's just, I saw the passion he had for that. For me, I was just like, well, I'm doing the Twitter, I'm doing the group chat, and I'm also messaging so many people I don't know through Twitter. Just, hey, I'm having a bad day. I'm down a few grand. Hey, I appreciate this and that. And I try to be transparent, but also I try to also value my time and energy, because at the end of the day, if my wife, my daughter not good, I done lost everything.
Absolutely.
We got another one on the way in July, thank you.
Congratulations. It's a boy, huh? Yeah, exactly.
More than penny stock, this and that, I'm excited to see us all grow and flourish. And I want to be there. And I knew that there's nothing wrong with that. I know parents grow up, they have to work, they're not able to be at games and this and that. I just knew I'm anal on, if I put my mind to it, I can do it. There's nothing else. I'm looking in the mirror, I'm human, I've seen someone else do it, I can do it. So it's just, Man,
people with
beautiful.
less talent, you know, what do they say? People with less talent doing more than you're doing, you know? So it's like, you have to have that.
I'm in competition with me, man.
Yeah.
I'm
and that's important too.
Right.
I feel like that's extremely important because it's like, you can wake up and inspire your damn self sometimes. I've done certain things where I'm like, I'm taking it in like, man, this is, and I'm texting my friends and family like, this is a dream, don't wake me up. This year has been a blessing.
That's awesome.
And it's like, I'm looking at it like, my next goals, yes, the money's gonna come. I'm like, who else can I help that wants to help themselves? Because I'm not pulling no damn weight.
Me.
Look, so, and look, we talking. We're gonna get going with it. Because
man, that's, I think that's beautiful, like to say, and maybe this, to be able to have purpose and find your purpose, find your why. You know, that gift, your gift is, I think your gift is just hard work. Your gift is no one's gonna outwork me, right? And then now you found your why, you know, in helping the people that are less financial literate, that don't, like Betty said, I didn't know anything about investing. I got in that chat, I was in the group me chat, I had to get out. I got out, bro. I was like, no, because they're.
It's almost decoded if you've never seen stocks because
I don't speak Spanish, but I thought like they speaking Spanish. Like what they speak?
No, I don't speak Spanish.
I relate. You know, dang well I don't speak Spanish. I related back to my first year playing college ball. My first year playing college ball, I just swear I wanted to be a physical therapist because I wanted to make money, right? And I go to Hardin-Simmons and we're up there 2-a-days. So we're there 2 weeks before school starts for 2-a-days. I walk into biology class, the first day of class, and I'm just like, oh, did I miss the last 2 weeks of class? Like, I know I've been up here for practice where we supposed to be in class. Like, what is this dude talking about? So when I was in that chat, I was like, oh no, like I don't know what. I'm Googling the words. Like I'm like, man, I can't keep up with this.
That's why we did the alert channel, because no one else in there can talk with me. And with the main group chat, I like it because I let everybody talk. I don't ever put myself in a position where I'm dominating the floor. 4,000 people, I'm not gonna sit up there and act like, hey, listen to me every single day. No, everybody. Look, somebody else might. There's plenty of people in there that have provided other stocks where we made money off of. So I look at it like. Also going back to the quote of never be the smartest person in the room, and if you want to go far, go together. So those two kind of just, and that's just learning from my pops. I mean,
yeah, wisdom.
I take it all in because
that's great.
So,
y'all have anything y'all want to ask to that? I mean, take advantage. Penny stock guru right here. I told some people about you. Uncle Drew Melton on the team, one of our football players, he dabbles in this stuff and he does a lot of research and stuff like that too. He's a good guy, and told him about you and he's like, oh, let me know. I can't wait to watch this episode. So might have to put in. He's a real genuine dude too. So he was a teacher and that stuff. So
let me talk with him, man. I don't mind. He gonna teach me something too.
You talked about reading, man, and our conversations and getting to know each other. And I just want to thank you for coming on again, because you mentioned that I guess you checked my credentials, so to speak, over time, and that means a lot to me, man. Like for real, like and you never, and this is the life lesson, is that you never know who's watching and for how long they're watching, right? So. I appreciate that. But I know you like reading. We talked about the audiobooks. I don't like reading, but I love knowledge. Talk about some of the books that you have read or that you like, or maybe offer something about that.
All right, well, real quick, I will say I never used to love reading. Okay. Going through college, I might have read up to maybe 2 books. After college, I was just like, where can I go find more knowledge without having to sit there and pay someone to feed me outside of the information my friends and family gave? I was like, and I read a quote, and it was like, if you want to hide something, put it in a book.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
And that hit me personally, because I was like,
I think that's in a rap song too. Like,
I was like, man, our culture don't really care for books, and I was like, damn, let me make fun of it. Like, cause I remember my pops, he read books like dictionary almost. He would read a thesaurus. Growing up as a kid, he would tell me certain things he was doing as a kid, and I was just like, it blew my mind reading a thesaurus, dictionary, and Reading for books, I would say 48 Laws of Power, The Alchemist, Richest Man in Babylon. I think there's one called The Four Elements as well, where it was just like, I love 48 Laws of Power because I study people and actions. We're humans of habit. Unless you're doing, like they say, it would take 30 days, 60 days for us to do a habit before you get going. Other people realize your body changes and after working out.
Yeah.
But we're humans of habit, so I would just study people. 48 Laws of Power I love because of the dynamic of you giving historical lessons of how people play situations out.
And it's never changed.
History.
It's never changed.
You the game, so you can take the game now and then you can go apply it. I feel like 2021 we have the most information ever and the most distractions.
Ooh,
So
it's another shirt.
so it's kind of like
We got shirts. Elliot, I need to get some shirts on, baby. Put it on a shirt like TNT. What's his name? That Chuck.
Ernie. Chuck,
Yeah, but no, they always, what's that dude? The kid that always like.
put it on a shirt. It's,
What's his name? I can't think of his name.
I know what you're talking about.
It's like something dog or is that's gonna bother me now.
Dude or something like dog something.
Yeah, he's like put it on a shirt. But no, so I'm actually, it's crazy you bring that up. I'm actually on the audiobook of 48 Laws of Power, and my boy B White or No Slack himself, Brandon Elam, who's in the army out there. He's now in Hawaii. He's writing a book.
Oh.
That's nice.
Brandon Elam's running that. If you don't follow Brandon Elam, man, that guy No Slack. Oh my God. So he put me onto that. We just talked last week. He called me, encouraged me, and oh my God, I would highly encourage you if you haven't read it.
I just asked you an audiobook. You didn't say nothing about it.
I said last week. I didn't see you last week. I didn't see you last week. I wasn't at the gym. My back was hurt.
My neck and my back.
My neck and my back. No, but I was listening to it on the way over here, and there was talk about sometimes your mouth can get you in trouble, right? So I think you talked about how you kind of in the background, you don't want to say too much. Sometimes you kind of do things. And there was a story about this some in Russia where this guy, like, he was wanting the government to become more liberal and they need to adapt and they need to grow, and they didn't want to do that. So they were going to hang him, right? And so he's about to get hung, and the rope breaks, and he doesn't get hung. Well, back in those days, they looked at it like if something like that happened, it's like a prophecy, like, oh my God, like he's not supposed to happen. Well, when it happened, he was like, his first words were, see, they can't do nothing right in Russia. They can't even make a rope. Right? So,
that's funny.
right? So I guess whoever reports back to the king, whatever they are in charge, the czar, there you go, goes back to the czar, and he's like, so he's supposed to have to get, he always knows random stuff. They're supposed to give him a pardon now, right? So he goes to the czar, and he's like, when the czar's like, he's about to sign a pardon, he's like, well, did he say anything when it happened? And he's like, yeah, he says that they can't do nothing right in Russia, they can't make a rope. So he's like, oh, okay, didn't sign the pardon. Next day they hung him, and it worked. So the lesson in that is like, sometimes just shut up and keep it moving. Talk less, do more.
We live in a social media era where you got to show everything, and for me, I of course study people, so I know if I go post 10 stocks, people are not really going to listen for the most part, but I'm like, I have to put that out there so they know that I'm not withholding information. But then if I go post like when we bought the truck, or we bought the Audi, or bought a bag or something, it's kind of like
double tap.
But I understand though, it's about though. But we like nice things. I'm not going to act a fool to it at all. But my whole thing is, from a financial standpoint, at what point are those nice things might maybe hurt your goals or hurt your pockets? Woo. So that's kind of
talking to me now.
It's a gut-wrenching thing that we all have to try to balance every day better because we like nice things.
Right. It's okay to like nice things, and it's okay to grind and get nice things. But like you said, the lack of financial literacy, and I'll be the first to say it, I'm bad. I'm bad with my money, So we need to talk. But
like he said earlier, he had to think about, okay, I want this, but I can get this later.
Right,
this is a small sacrifice for this season, for my ultimate goal.
And that's just now. Like this is 2021, 2020, in 2020 when we got the car. So it was kind of like it was a long time.
Yeah.
But it was just like That's your process. Nobody just start off shiny. We put in the work and you just
But you're right. This generation. I don't even know if we can call it this generation anymore, man. Because I feel like every generation is on social media.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where I'm going with that is like it used to be a generational thing, and it still kind of can be. But I think everyone's on social media, no matter what generation you're on. It's a society issue now that all we want to see is a success.
Instant gratification.
Instant gratification. What car you drive, what kicks you got, all that stuff. What trip are you on? And that's okay. It's okay to do those things if you work for it and grind. But like you said, some people will do that with what they could have turned that into make more money, and because instant gratification.
Or even just prematurely, like I get caught up in it too. Like I'll go to the store and I want to buy something. I'm like, man, I had a hard week. I worked hard. I know how much money's coming in. Let me grab these shoes. When at the end of the day, how many pairs of shoes did I buy where I could have put that money towards something like a penny
You got a lot of pairs of shoes.
Yeah, I got too many.
You know what? Now that y'all say that, I'm gonna send you something too, where we literally explain how you can turn $200 into 200,000 off of just 10 steps.
Hey, I got my car right now.
Serious. For real. Because we want people to see, like I literally started off with $500. But literally when I first started, I got to see that 500 turn into 30 grand a month. And that blew my mind. I'm sitting there, and I'm like, how do you
see my mouth?
I'm sitting at a call center like, damn, do I need this job? And I'm now like, dang, do I even know how to manage $30,000 right now? I'm like, I don't know. So it's like almost like you literally every step of the way, $1,000. You like, and I preach if you can't manage $200, how you gonna manage 200 million,
right.
a million, 200,000, 100,000? So it's just you literally learn how to like.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna go back to the books real quick. He didn't finish his list. I'm sorry.
He said a couple books. Like he said,
The Richest Man in Babylon. I think that's where we left.
The Alchemist.
The Alchemist.
48 Laws
of Power.
This book I believe called The Four Elements. I like
Okay.
that one a lot. Oh, Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Those
Penny stock gurus
for
for dummies.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to eventually find somebody that can bring a story to life in a book because I'm not.
Hey, I can do the voiceover, man. Let's talk about it.
Okay, Morgan Freeman.
This is how you invest.
Ain't nobody gonna listen to that. Not like that.
What you mean?
We gonna talk later. We got some business to talk about.
Yeah, let's go. I'm like E.T., bro. I'm on voiceovers now. You know what I'm saying? Hey, let's go. But I do want to talk about, you said, when you said something right now, I thought about blocking your own blessing. You know, when you talked about spending your money and you can invest it, one, I think it's a broke mindset. When I say broke mindset, it's a generational curses that we were brought up, like the instant gratification now, and the lack of financial literacy that we as our community have been given. I love teaching and coaching, but the more I look at it, the system's so jacked up. Like we're not teaching the right things. I was loved by the kids because I taught life lessons. I don't care when Pineda mapped the Texas Gulf Coast, and neither do they. They're not going to remember, but it's 1419, by the way. They're not going to, if I ask them that 20 years from now, they're going to remember what I taught them about life, right? And we don't teach about that. When I started the Jordan Gents Club, teaching young men how to tie ties, teaching them about credit, I'm like, oh, where you want to live? Okay, let's look up how much it costs to live in an apartment.
Perspective.
How much you're wasting in an apartment, right? I probably didn't talk about that because I wasn't in real estate yet. But it's just like cost of living. You think you want to ball out? We talked about what it takes to be a man in today's society. Like you can't talk about your feelings. You know, we can't be sensitive. You know, I'm like the most sensitive. I'm sensitive.
You are.
I'm an emotional being, and that's frowned upon by many times because it's not the manly thing to do. And that's a whole nother. You know, we'll have to get on that again. You definitely have to come back, but. We block our blessings by being so into the moment. Go ahead.
I'm feeling almost like it's like if we want to buy something, like kind of when we got the trucks, it was like, yeah, we could have got a long time ago. But it was like I wanted to make sure I could almost buy that truck 10, 20, 30 times before I just.
What did Jay-Z say? If you can't buy it twice, you can't afford it.
So it's just like
I ain't heard that one. It's another shirt.
Everybody has
I almost said it. War Dog. I'm gonna remember that next time. I gotta forget TNT. What's the name of my guy?
So
Hey, where grinding never stops. Go ahead.
No, that's
Go on, what
good.
you talking about?
All right,
Sorry,
go ahead.
sorry.
That's good.
No, you good, but no, that's just. We were just. I was blank.
That's all right.
Where we were with the. Oh, just on purchasing things. I mean, I might have 4 pair of shoes going into this year, and then things got to really fly and take off. And I will just stick back to the penny stocks of just. You go check track records. So you go look at last year, we might have been maybe 40 stocks that went from 300 to over 10,000%. So you really put in an aspect of how little money can make you a lot. And I have a lot of friends and family like where they're busy. I'm like, well, I got some mentors and friends and family might be millionaires. They make time to sit down and talk with me. So I'm like, you're not busy, you distracted. We make time to eat every morning.
Right.
I mean, every day. So it's like, we're all busy.
Speaking to me.
We're all busy,
Speaking to
but
me
we
now.
still make time for really what we want to.
And you'll make time for what is most important to
Bro,
you.
we talk about that
I
all
believe
the
that.
time,
Yeah,
man. People
absolutely.
make time for what they truly want.
So I don't want to ever paint the illusion of this is going to be their success story, but it goes back to, as y'all know, putting in the work no matter where you at. People get this illusion that it's going to come easy. No. But with penny stocks and now where we are and the information we have, I got to see friends and family younger than me do well off way faster than what I did. But it's like, we're not, look, you in, we in. Now we can go help other people, bless other people and put them in positions of power where it's like, no, the people on TV that ain't superhuman, this and that. We can do it too.
It's not impossible.
You see me the inspiration you've been doing in the mountains, and I'm sure you have, and you have. So it's just like you have to put in the work. Simply put, it's nothing's gonna come easy and fast.
Nothing's gonna come easy and fast, and put in the work, grind, and people like millionaires. It's not. I think it's not impossible to be a millionaire. Not impossible to be a millionaire. So. Man, LaRon, you got to come back, man. You got to come back. We appreciate having you. I appreciate you sharing your story, your experience with the world, and we talked about this yesterday. I know this is not you. This is not really what I thought either, but somebody needs it. So ultimately, man, thank you for coming on, coaches. I appreciate it. It's a good one. It's another good one, man. Another good one. So. We want to thank y'all for tuning in to episode 4 of Chalk Talk, the open playbook of life. We want to thank Alternative Solar, our sponsor, for allowing us to use the facilities. If you're looking into getting into solar, hit up my guy Eric Allen at Alternative Solar. And we just thank you for the support. We're going to keep putting out this and keep trying to positively impact people. And just remember, your gift plus your why equals your purpose. So thank y'all. What's up, guys? The Real Estate Coach here, man. Just want to thank you guys for all the support. Chalk Talk, the open playbook of life. Please like and subscribe on the YouTube. Don't forget to hit the notification button so you can get updated on when we drop episodes. And also, if you're trying to catch up on the latest episodes, just go ahead and click right here and you'll see that. So again, we appreciate all the support. Leave some comments, anything that we can do to get better and provide you some topics for the show that'll help you. We're all about it. So remember, your gift plus your why equals your purpose.